Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone, wherever you are, whenever you are. This is Brendon welcoming you to another Paradigm Shift Central Conscious Media Co-op production meeting. And of course, I am joined by some other fellow conscious creators, some shifters from across the globe. So fellow conscious creators, if you want to unmute yourself right now, please say hello to all the people tuned into this and send them a little bit of love. So go ahead, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Hola.
Hola.
Thank you.
Konnichiwa.
Awesome. Konnichiwa.
¿Cómo estás?
Grand Rising.
Awesome. Sweet. All right. So for those of you who perhaps maybe haven't tuned into the past production meetings, know that the recordings for these are online for Patreon supporters as well as members of the co-op. What we are doing here through the Paradigm Shift Central Conscious Media Co-op, we are working with a very, very powerful team of people who are dedicated to being able to help level up their ability to help get their sacred message out to the world, to be able to create more funnels, more channels for their creative flow, to be able to express themselves, to be able to develop their own brands, their business, to bring on more clients, to build their own prosperity, and again, just to be able to help support each other as a community, being able to collaborate on projects and to be able to create inspiring, educational, and entertaining conscious media content. So within this production meeting, we're going to keep things within a 15-minute time frame here. We do these every Monday to Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And what we're going to do within this one, I'm just going to give you guys a quick update on the status of the project in terms of the website. That's kind of the main thing that I'll just bring you up to speed on. And then I just want to be able to get into, may not focus too much on this, but again, just like the importance of community and coaching. I want to give you guys some information on journal prompts that I want you to begin practicing for your morning routines. And then from there, we'll get into the concept of closing loops, which relates to one of our questions that we'll be talking about, and also the new opportunity that I want to be able to present to each of you here about being able to help sell your physical items through the Quest item shop, which is the team Shopify shop that we have. Once we go through that, we'll go through the group real quick with some questions. And the first question will be list 1 or 2 loops that you need to close. And a loop is the completion of a task. So this will be a loop relative to our conscious media production. So for example, that could be something where it's like, you know, I really need to update my website or something like that. That could be a loop. And so what we want to get in the mindset of is acknowledging what loops we currently need to close, knowing that as we close them, that will open up more attention and more focus for other tasks that we have on us, opposed to, as humans, sometimes we do this where we'll end up having like multiple loops that haven't fully been closed, and then it just kind of ends up getting into a little bit too much to carry at that point. So just kind of getting into that mindset. And then from there, we'll go around the circle and we'll also share what are two core objectives, what are 2 objectives for this week that we have personally as creators in terms of our media production. So we'll get right into it. Cool. Okay, so in terms of updates related to the Paradigm Shift Central project, for those of you who have been involved with the past week, again, you know, like the way how we're functioning this, very simply put, is we're using the main Paradigm Shift Central website to be able to create a central blog, is one way that you can think of it, a central channel for people in the community to be able to post to and to have their content approved, and to really be using that channel to focus on like good, high quality content, while at the same time understanding that it's going to be a place for you to be able to practice creating. And through there, we're developing this relationship with the community where they really get the opportunity to see Paradigm Shift as this exciting platform that they can return to see unique and inspirational conscious community content being created by, you know, community members, opposed to it being like, you know, like huge, like million subscriber YouTubers or something like that. We're showing them that it's like, hey, you know, this is us. We have just as many, you know, followers on YouTube or Instagram as you might, and yet here we are creating awesome content and leading by example on that way. So where we are right now, those of you in the past, you know that the main Paradigm Shift Central website has been something that we've been working on for quite a while. Since 2015 was the most recent version, and even before that there was an earlier version. And that website right now, it's functional, it does have its purpose and everything, but I've really been sitting on this with the past week, and some of you have heard me talking about this, where, I need to be able to make the decisions for the community that are going to serve it in the long run. And this is why I'm essentially literally starting a new version of the Paradigm Shift Central website on Wix, Wix.com, which is a very powerful website platform. It's something that I'm still in the process of learning. And essentially from there, I'm just going to kind of like keep a very simplified version of the idea of the community and have it through this platform. And the purpose for this is that the previous platform that we're currently on, which is Ning, N-I-N-G, it's kind of an older platform and it's a smaller production company, and it's not really going to continue to be updated quite in the same way as something like Wix is, Wix is like the most popular website platform creator right now, and for good reason, because there's a lot of versatility to it. And I'm going to explain more about how, if anybody here is looking to create a website, I think Wix would be the one that I would recommend going with that way. So we are all kind of developing our familiarity with this platform, and then we can kind of learn how to be able to assist each other as we continue to be able to grow our own websites, to be able to promote ourselves in that way. So what I'm doing again today, tomorrow, I'm working on getting a version of the website on that is essentially going to be kind of like a bare bones, as simple as possible, while still accomplishing the core objectives, which is again basically like functioning as a single blog platform so that we can start archiving things in a single place and start promoting it, and really just start building the momentum on that end. And so again, even for me using the Wix platform, I'm also seeing it as an investment in me learning it, knowing that as I learn it, I'll be able to better help coach other people within the community on how to use it as well, which is something I would want to do. As I'm creating this, I want to be able to eventually create a video to show you guys how to be able to get started on Wix, to be able to help create your own website platform for your own brands and your own contents. And so that's pretty straightforward, and stay tuned for that. And again, like the current website, live.paradigmshiftcentral.com, you can go check it out. And there's a lot of like really cool bells and whistles on there. And right now, as I move on to the new website, I'm pretty much having to make the choice to cut out a lot of those bells and whistles. But even still, the idea of the community is really where the power is. The bells and whistles, those help, but really just focusing on like what it is as an idea is what I'm creating to begin with, which again is like that central blog, and then we'll start building it over time. And this is kind of a good example of for you guys to keep in mind that when we're building something, be it websites or apps or something like that, sometimes we kind of get into this mindset where we tell ourselves that it has to be perfect in order to release it. When in reality, sometimes it's good to kind of like release it in phases to be able to get the feedback, to be able to start building the audience, and then you kind of build it as you go. You've heard me talk about this metaphor before where you can't steer a parked car. And so what I'm working on getting like that's as simple-ish of a version of the website up and running as possible, and then I'll start adding like the bells and whistles to it as we go, instead of kind of worrying about, it needs to be this, it needs to be a replica of the old version of the website. And so part of the reason why I'm also moving to Wix is also because it's going to be easier for you guys to be able to post on. There's more of an intuitive flow to it, and again, for me, I didn't want to totally start telling people, hey, start posting on the old website, and then to, a couple months later suddenly just jump to the new website. I'd rather jump to the new website and start building things there, that way, so it's already in that one place. So stay tuned for that. And for anybody here who is already familiar with Wix, please feel free to reach out to me, maybe if you have some suggestions and inputs on how to build that as well. So again, I'm working on getting that a version of that up by the end of today is one of my tasks, and then we'll start working together as a team for those of you who are ready to start posting your content. And the content in the past you've seen on the main website, those of you familiar, you've seen it's been like in the categories of quest journals and conscious articles. Essentially what we're doing, we're combining both of those, as well as making it more specific, and basically we're just referring to them as shift entries is what we're referring to it as. And I was kind of like sitting with this for a while, kind of deciding on the name, and I kind of went through a few ideas between like shift media, and originally, and I was also thinking about calling it like media medicine, or like something along those lines or something. But I think shift entries is it does work. And again, like it doesn't really even need to be like, the word media doesn't really need to be in there because it's kind of redundant. So kind of removing that redundancy, and entries can kind of refer to a variety of things. And it will still have the similar concepts of the questionnaires and the conscious articles, where it's encouraging you to share your personal stories, but also again, focusing on creating the content that is intentionally inspirational, educational, and entertaining. And again, we're not expecting you to post all of your content to the main website, but really just like the ones that you really feel represent you well, knowing that each thing that you post there is essentially a promotion that's linking people back to your platform and your social channels as well. So that's all I want to say on that. We'll move on to the next part. I just really want to acknowledge, because I was, just kind of seeing somebody else talking about this, just for us to really acknowledge what it is that we're investing in by being here and by showing up. And I really just want to thank everyone for being here, because again, as much as this is you supporting me and you supporting the community, this is essentially you making the investment for yourself, which is the big thing behind this. Because if you're looking at building your brands and building your own coaching clientele and everything like that, it's important for you to have your own coaches as well. And I think sometimes people kind of get into this mindset where they just kind of do it all by themselves. But I think, with us here in a community, we're really kind of showing just the power of being able to have that community, have that space, have that accountability, have that routine, and also being able to, not only work with me as a coach, but working with other people in the community as a coach. And so, again, I just very simply wanted to just emphasize the potency of what it is that we're creating here, and again, how we're kind of like breaking the mold that everyone needs to do it all by themselves, and really just utilizing the power of what happens when very powerful, great people come together to create even more powerful things. It's a concept of synergy, where the sum of two parts is greater than the whole, or something along those. The individual parts, or the sum is greater than the individual parts. So so that's basically what I want to say. Journal prompts. This is one thing that I wanted to be able to get into, to be able to encourage people. This is something that really every day, if you're in the habit of it, can be very beneficial to you, is to be able to get into creating a rising journal each day. And this can be either on computer or on paper. And some journal prompts that I've been using that have actually been passed on to me by another coach, my friend Nathaniel Solis, which you guys will hear more about in the future. He's someone who I want to help feature more as well. One of the things that you can, and if you guys want to take notes on this, go ahead, but I'll put it into production notes as well. When you create your journal prompt, fresh page of paper, start off with the date at the top, write rising journal. And then the things that I'm familiar with using is that the first thing that you write is you write out in like a paragraph, not just a list, but a kind of like a structured sentence, a paragraph, some things that you're grateful for in your life. And so, I mean, a lot of you have probably already been doing this in some ways, but again, just like really reflecting on like all the things that you're grateful for, starting off your morning with that, really acknowledging how privileged we are right here to be in this world with the technology at our fingertips, with the houses over our heads, with the foods in our cupboards, and the families and the friends and the support, knowing that we have all this and we have the privilege and we're using it to be able to help make a difference in this world. So just writing a little bit about gratitude is one of the first things to put into your journal that I would recommend. The next thing is to be able to literally talk to yourself in written form. So what you would write, you would just be literally start off with your name. So be like, Brendon, like, you are doing awesome. You are so like focused and so patient, and your ideas are really taking form, and you're bringing together amazing people, and people really appreciate what you do, and you're creating amazing things, and you're only going to keep going farther and farther and farther. So you literally kind of like write to yourself as if you're talking to yourself as a friend. This can be a very powerful thing to get into. Again, just kind of like coaching yourself in that way. So that's the next thing. And again, I'm just going through these real quick right now. The next thing, 4 things that you want to accomplish, but written in present tense. So you can do this as a bit of a list. So example, instead of saying I want to have, like 10,000 or 10,000 YouTube subscribers as an example, you would literally write, I have 10,000 YouTube subscribers. I have like 10 monthly clients. I have, like an awesome schedule where I'm creating awesome content. So literally just writing that in present tense. And again, that the idea of writing, there's this whole deeper conversation here just about like the power of magic when it comes to writing something down and then our consciousness seeing it on paper, and then that kind of triggering like a code within the matrix is a very, very powerful thing. So again, just four, maybe five, whatever works for you, things that you are working on manifesting, but written in present tense. The next thing that you would want to do within this rising journal, and again, this could pretty much fit all onto one page depending on the size of your journal, would be 3 frogs. And some of you have heard me talk about this before. What are frogs? Frogs is kind of a term, and I didn't make this up, but it's a term kind of like within a coaching concept. And basically a frog is a task that you have to do during the day that can be thought of as like either the hardest task or the task that you might be most likely to procrastinate on or even avoid completely. And the reason behind this metaphor, this analogy, is that it's called a frog because it's the idea of eating a frog. You know, if you had a frog on a plate in front of you and someone told you to eat it, there would be that part of you where you'd just be like, oh God, like, oh, you know, you kind of get like, you feel it, you're just like, I don't want to do that. And then you know you're just going to push it away, sort of thing. And obviously, like, again, I'm just like, I'm still kind of trying to figure out, it's like, is there a better like a vegan metaphor that we can use instead of eating a frog, so to speak, right? We're working on that. But again, just the concept of it is what's more important. So each day within your journal, write out 3 of your frogs. What are the 3 things that are going to be like the first 3 things that you do that you get out of your way, that you accomplish like early in the morning before even halfway through? Because if you can get those frogs out of the way, then that's going to open you up to so much more time and space to really be able to focus on your other things. So again, just kind of like think about that each day. What are the 3 frogs that you have to accomplish? And maybe those frogs will take you to the whole day. You know, it's going to be a different task for a different person. It's going to be a different thing each day, but just being able to write them down and acknowledge them and get yourself in that mindset of really just kind of like committing to it. Because that's kind of the idea, where it's like with eating a frog, if you just commit to it and you're just like, all right, just do it, and then you did it, you know, you did it. Whereas if you sit there and you think about it and you think about it and you think about it and you think about it, that's when you kind of just keep procrastinating sort of thing. So again, acknowledging what those frogs are and then writing it down and committing yourself to accomplishing them. And maybe, you know, maybe don't beat yourself up if you don't get through all of them. Maybe you only get through 1 or 2. That's okay. But again, just having them on paper in front of you, acknowledging what they are, and having that motivation to be able to accomplish them is a very powerful thing. And the last thing within your rising journal prompt would be a brain dump. And brain dumps are very important. So brain dumps would essentially be anything else that you feel you need to write out. And this is important for us to do really at any point in the day, where sometimes we have like so much on our mind, or maybe we just kind of like want to open ourselves up to that creative flow, and you just create that space where you literally just start writing it out, and you just kind of like, and it might be a sentence, it might be a paragraph, but you know, it might be like something even like personal. It might be you just kind of like moving some energy, moving some emotions, some feelings, and getting it out on paper. So whatever it is that you feel you need to do as a brain dump to kind of like clear that out, to move it out of your thought process, and then you can kind of again make that space open for being able to focus on other parts of your project. So again, for those of you who were just taking notes on that, the journal prompts for your rising journal: gratitude, writing that out, talking to yourself, 4 things that you want to accomplish written in present tense, your 3 frogs, and your brain dump. You can do this journal. This should take you like even like no more than 10 minutes. And if you can do this in the morning, that is going to like completely amplify the effectiveness of your entire day. And then again, you can get into the habit of doing this each day. And then if you work it in with like a little bit of meditation, a little bit of exercise and stretching, it will just become even more powerful. And absolutely, like the meditation and the stretching each morning, that is obviously as well something highly recommended. So moving on to the next thing, again, you know, just the idea of closing loops, and then we're going to go into the item stuff and then right into the questions, just moving along this really quick. Again, you know, the reason why I'm presenting this to you because as a team, is that really helping us get into the mindset and really sharing with you the value that these ideas have, and knowing that as you actualize them, it's going to help increase your productivity. Because again, as a facilitator for this space, as a coach for each of you, as a friend, I want to see all of us continue to to be the best versions of ourselves that we can be, and to really just kind of acknowledge where there might be any sort of excuses or old programming, and really just lead by example in that way. And a lot of it, as we've talked about before, is kind of the little things that really set the precedence for how it is that we show up each day. So that's why little things like journaling is incredibly valuable. And again, like so many people don't do this, and those are going to be the people that are kind of like stuck in old stories and old patterns and everything. So you need to kind of like move things into new patterns and use these as coping mechanisms to be able to really just help actualize your ideas as creators. Moving on to the next thing, closing loops. So again, this is something that we're going to go around the circle with. Again, the idea of closing loops is quite simple. It's basically just acknowledging what tasks we might have that we need to complete. And sometimes that will happen where we'll do something and maybe it's a little bit bigger than we thought it was going to be. And then maybe we get like 70% through and then we don't fully finish it, but then it's still on the back of our mind. And then it kind of impacts the future ability for us to focus on other things. And then we keep moving on to the other things. And then that thing just gets procrastinated more and more and more. So instead, and again, this might be one of your frogs for today or any day, is acknowledging what loops we currently have that need closing. And of course, this can be related to many things. This isn't just within the context of media. This could be anything within your life and everything like that. It could be like, finishing that conversation with that person, or again, like doing your taxes or something like that, right? So just making sure that we're acknowledging what loops we currently have that need closing and taking the actions towards intentionally closing them to be able to help do that as an investment for our future creativity and our future freedom to be able to focus on what it is that we need to. So when we go around the circle with the question, I'll be asking each of us here to share one or two loops that we need to close related to media that we're working on. So and if you don't have anything to share on that, that's totally cool. And so that's basically, again, the concept of loops, very important. The other thing I just want to mention, physical item sales through the Quest item shop. So what we have right now is a Shopify website, and this is a super awesome platform and everything. One thing that I want to be able to offer to each of us here as an additional option for members in the co-op, and I've had this idea for a while, and it's just kind of, again, putting certain ideas in front of you guys at a certain amount of time, and as we get the website going and everything, you'll start to see this more actualized. One of the ideas that I want to be able to offer each person here is the option to be able to include a physical item or items into the Quest item shop for a monthly contribution each month, where essentially, and I haven't fully set the price on this, but I'm thinking it would literally just be something where it'd be like $5 or $10 a month per item to be able to add it to the Quest item shop. And then essentially the value that you'd be getting out of this is that I would be promoting the item through my channels, and as well as anybody coming to the Quest item shop would be able to see your item there. So again, it's like literally like renting shelf space on a store. And if you could imagine in like a physical building, you just kind of rent a little piece of shelf space and you put your item on there. So again, investing $5 a month to be able to add an item to the Quest item shop, if that's getting you sales that you weren't getting before, then that's an awesome investment where you could easily be, selling your items, making back like, a couple $100. And you can also direct people to that Shopify link as well. And again, this is kind of the option for people who might not have their own store. Because again, if you were to create your own Shopify shop, it would cost you, like $40, $50, $60 a month just to be able to open that shop. So maybe you're not at the point where like I don't want to invest in an entire shop, an entire commerce platform just for myself. And so just putting that option out there for those of you who have physical items, and again, we want to make sure that the item fits within the genre of what it is that we're presenting as a community. So if it's like some sort of like jewelry, crystal thing, even of course like dream catchers or something, right? And then again, I'm still kind of figuring this out, and either the transaction would either like directly go through me and then I would pay you as it comes in, and we would just kind of do it that way, or it'd be like by the end of the month or something. I'm still kind of just figuring out the full ideas, but again, I just wanted to put out that concept out there. And then for those of you who are interested in that idea, with the intention being that it would help bring more attention to your items and to your products and to help generate more sales for you, well, again, the monthly contribution to have the item in there for each month would also help create like additional revenue for the team as well, and to essentially be able to help offset the cost of having the store to begin with, and even more beyond that. So that's a pretty cool idea. So that's all in terms of updates today. Let's go through with the questions, and I'll just share real quick. So what are what are a couple loops that I need to close? So as I've already talked about, one of the loops that I need to close is the completion of the first stage of the new website that I'm working on. I know once I complete that, it's really going to help like set me into new territory to really get creative with other parts of the project that I'm super passionate about being able to work on. And another loop that I want to be able to close is also doing, and this may sound trivial, but it's actually something that I've had in mind and I just haven't gotten to it yet. I haven't even started it, so I mean technically the loop hasn't, well, I guess it's kind of open, but I want to close it, is creating custom like graphic icons for my Instagram stories on my profile. And so for those of you who are using Instagram, which it's at this point I would highly recommend everyone within the community use it so that we can help support you on it. You'll notice your stories, and you see this on some profiles where they kind of brand these stories with little icons, and these little icons, they just kind of help shift the presentation of your profile. They just show that like, okay, sweet, this person's like, you know, having that professional presentation, and it really just kind of changes the way that people see it. It changes the atmosphere. It just helps make it more manageable. So that's one thing that another thing that I want to do is kind of like go through my Instagram stories and kind of figure out how I want to change the graphics on those so that it's more presentable, and yeah, it will just help streamline more of the creativity moving forward. So that's another loop, that and the website. So okay, cool, let's keep passing the talking stick around, and again, we got about 25 minutes. Not trying to tell you guys to take, you know, like talk as much as you feel you not need to talk to, but we'll just keep moving through this. And again, for those of you who need to reach me for one-on-one stuff, you can reach me. I may not be fully available today, but if not today, we can book time tomorrow, just because again, I want to focus on closing my loops. But again, I'm here nonetheless. Okay, so let's go around the circle talking what are 2 loops that you need to close, and then the question for the core objectives for the week. We'll go around that afterwards, so you guys can just say your name as you go around and what are 2 loops you need to close, and then again we'll go around the second time with the second question. So as concise as you're able to do it, but again, just this is all practice. So who would like to share first on a couple loops that they are working on closing? Josie, we'll do Josie, and then we'll do Lori next. So Josie, go ahead.
Cool, thank you. That was awesome. So right now what I'm working on, the 2 loops I need to close are definitely finishing editing my YouTube videos, because I have a bunch of illustrations to put into them, and that always kind of like bogs me down a little bit because it's so time consuming, but it's one of those things where once you start, you enjoy it. So I just need to start. Yeah. But they're pretty much ready to go, so I'm excited to finish those up. And the other loophole, I just need to send out. I had someone, I've been creating, okay, sorry, back up. I've been creating all these awesome documents on Google Docs, like questionnaires and quizzes, because I've been deciding to set more boundaries when it comes to my coaching clients and people reaching out to me for readings. So I've been, instead of chasing the people that I'm wanting to work with and feeling like that desperate need to make money, I've been deciding to step back and wait for people to come to me. So, and another way that I'm filtering the clients that are coming to me is I'm sending them a questionnaire that I created on Google Docs, where it's kind of like a filtering thing, like, are we a good fit? Like, honestly, the underlying message is like, do you qualify to work with me? You know, are you committed to reaching your goals? Because that's what I'm going to help you accomplish. So that's kind of the message I've been sending out, is really putting value on my content and what I'm able to accomplish for my clients. So those are the 2 things that I'm closing up, is like sending, I had someone finish a questionnaire, my very first one, and I was like so stoked when I got the response back. So that's the other thing, is just sending out like pricing, packages, all my, you know, I've been putting that together. So I just need to close that loop today. and send all that information over to that client. And then as far as media production for this week, what I'm focusing on, I'm also, again, super stoked because I've been collaborating with my best friend about kind of my brand and everything, because I've been studying people's Instagram pages like crazy, looking at their themes and their colors and what draws people in. And I'm noticing with my own Instagram page that I'm getting tons of likes and views on my videos. So I figured out the hashtag thing. But the thing is, I know people are coming to my page and it kind of looks blah, you know? So I'm trying to spice it up. So I've been, I've kind of come up with a whole theme since I'm on quantum physics and spirituality and like tarot. I came up with the Quantum Queen. So I'm kind of going along with that whole theme and then putting together everything like quantum tarot and, down the road eventually doing my own tarot deck, all this stuff. Like once I came up with that, it was like, fireworks, like all this creativity just started pouring through. So pretty much that's what I'm focusing on this whole week is really branding, coming up with graphic images and everything. So it's kind of exciting. And that's what I'm doing this week. So yeah.
Awesome. Wonderful, Josie. That sounds really exciting. And yeah, just moving through the future questions. Yeah, well, let's just combine the two questions into one person talking at a time. That way, so if anybody needs to leave early, they're more than welcome to. Yeah, and again, Josie, I think you're definitely, I'm definitely, even just like the confidence that's coming through and just the excitement that's coming through and you talking about it is awesome to hear as well. And again, like just from one side of things, I think it's always beneficial to have YouTube videos that are kind of like edited beforehand that you're planning on releasing over the course of like a month. That's always like a valuable thing for content creators, that instead of always like making something and then releasing it that day or just kind of like always on the edge, is that if you can kind of like stockpile stuff and release it over the course of like a month, that can kind of create more space for you to be able to focus on other things as well. And again, timing is everything, right? Like you might have some really cool YouTube videos, but maybe those YouTube videos will have even more impact after you're finished like spicing up the rest of your brand and everything like that. So if anything, Josie, I would just say, like really kind of like take your time on the YouTube videos. I feel, again, there's a lot of value in those, and I feel the value of those will be even more amplified as you kind of like create even more clear foundation and branding with everything else. So opposed to kind of like releasing X number of, within a week or something like that, or again, even getting into the schedule of creating, when your releases are going to be for your YouTube. I know a lot of people do that where they say, like every Tuesday and Thursday or something like that. But yeah, no, I think that's really cool that you're, again, just like getting so much accomplished already. And the Google Docs for the clients, I think that's a great idea. I think, again, for anybody here who's doing coaching, absolutely being able to have that questionnaire to figure out if the people are going to be, committed and the right fit for you. That's totally cool. And you need to make sure that you're setting your boundaries for who it is that you're working with. That's a very important energetic thing. And yeah, the Quantum Queen, I love that. I think that's a super exciting thing that you will definitely be able to own. So that's very exciting, Josie. That's awesome. Good job.
Thanks.
Cool. Is there anything else to share at the moment, Josie? Is that okay?
No, that was it. I don't want to take everyone's time, so that was a lot.
That's awesome though. Cool. All right, thanks, Josie. Okay, and Lori, you can go next, and then we'll move on to someone else after that. Go ahead, Lori.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yep, sounds good.
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, we can hear you.
Yep, all loud.
Oh, beautiful. Okay. So I am ready. I've had Weebly, I'd say, for 17 years now, or maybe 15 years. I had Wix in the beginning, then Weebly on educational plan, which meant free. And I was prouded by that, but it's time to move on. It's time to invest, in upping what I could really do with my site. And now I'm torn, since you just mentioned Wix. I'm just torn because I have my art portfolio, then I'm going to have classes for sale. So I need to make sure that the website could handle that, which I know Weebly can, and then to sell some items. So maybe I'll talk to you on the side about that. Within that, so talking about finishing the two. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to say, just mention
and SEO.
Sorry?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, and just real quick, because anybody could benefit from hearing this, but the Wix site does have its own built-in commerce feature. So like there is the option to
Okay.
like even sell items through Wix as well.
It does.
So yeah, but yeah, sorry, continue and we can
And
talk more
private.
as we go.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's been very hard because I'm growing towards, I want to have classes on there. And I don't want to use all these other outsourcing. I want things to be as tight as I can. Currently, I have two websites and I need to combine them into one because if I'm going to pay for it, I can't pay for two. I could just combine them. So it just takes work. So that's the content that has to be worked on. I was going to do that today, but now we're talking about Wix. I'm like, I'm not going to do that if I'm going to go to Wix. Yes. So that's the really big thing. It's just time consuming. And yes. And then I heard another thing you mentioned. I had a vision last night. I have an app that I want to invent. I don't know where to begin, who to trustworthy go to, and how it works. So, and that's a pretty big one. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, no, that's great. So you feel that like your loops that you're working on closing is just kind of the upping of your website brand would be that?
Yeah, I feel like it's old. Right now it looks like just a portfolio. There's no call to action.
Gotcha.
And I want to set it up for that when I have all that stuff. I don't want to get lost in that process because I can get lost in making it look pretty. And there's no point to that if you don't have content. I get that. But I do want to set it up for my classes. So I know that I could have a private page on there. I don't know if Wix allows that. I know Weebly does. So, and the main concern I had with Wix is I always thought that it was so, because I used to have Wix and I know it was like self-contained object is what I was heard, but I don't know if that's 2018. That was like 7 or 10 years ago.
What do you mean by self-contained object?
So, yeah, like you don't get the proper viewing that you do with other websites. And I didn't understand completely what I'm trying to say, but because it's like, it doesn't get seen. Maybe that's only if you have a free Wix, and maybe that's why.
Okay. Yeah. And
it's just.
Sorry, go ahead.
I want people to see it in the world. I mean, like the grand world, not just from a direct link I give them. You know, I want people to hit it who I don't know. And
right. Yeah. SEO.
For my Yes.
Yeah.
And I want to pick the company that does the best job at it.
Yeah.
You know, besides my stuff.
Yeah. And again, you know, like I'm still doing more research as we speak, but I do feel that Wix is like gonna continue to kind of be this like leading website platform. Like again, like the main ones right now are like Wix, WordPress, Squarespace, and maybe a couple other, but those are kind of like the big three right now. And I've worked with Squarespace. I haven't worked too much with WordPress. I know like it's a little bit more complicated, but from what I've seen, like with Wix, like the stylization of it, and again, just the engineering behind it, knowing that they're going to continue to bring out new features, for me is why it is a worthy investment, because I know that like with what they've already created, then that means, you know, in 5 years from now, like they're going to be the ones that are going to have like those new features that are going to help your website stand out. Because, and again, that was like my decision with Paradigm Shift is like, it's like, wow, you know, I'm really happy with the website we've created, but what's it going to look like in 3 years from now, you know? And if people land on it and they're just like, this looks like an old website, like regardless of the content, if it looks like an old, because again, you know, like with websites,
it can be clean but looks old.
I know, right? Yeah, it can be simple and stuff, but you can still tell an old website when you see it.
Yes.
And so again, you know, like with websites, and this just goes for everybody here, like it's not just the content, it's an experience, and you're inviting people into this like digital space, this digital realm. So that's where you kind of like want to be able to have it as like a story that you're telling. It's like a journey that they go through, that they explore. And I think there's still like a lot to the future of like website creation that we're still just kind of like tapping into. But yeah, no, that's something that I want to be able to explore more. But yeah, from my experience, like it seems like it's the worthy investment to begin investing in learning about Wix, while at the same time, again, just kind of keeping it simple. And you know, I was talking to somebody about this the other day, Lori, like, whereas the benefits of starting off on a new website is that you kind of really get to pick and choose like what it is that you want on there, where you're really focusing on, again, kind of like taking out the things that you don't need and really just like dropping in the things that you do need. And again, and that can be quite simple. Like, and this is where, again, you know, for the mindset, and I was talking to Michelle about this because she was talking talking about her website, you know, I was like trying to get people into the mindset of like, what's the least amount of work that you could do in order to be able to get things up and running? And this is kind of what I was talking about, where sometimes we think we have to like invest like, you know, hours and hours and hours and all this vision into creating our website, when in reality it could actually be something like quite simple to be able to just like broadcast our message, represent what we're doing, and then start inviting people to get involved on that level. So yeah, I'll be working alongside that as well. And again, I want to be able to like essentially like learn for myself so that I can help teach other people on the team how to be able to develop their own.
It was a very
Wix
intuitive
websites.
Project. Wix was very intuitive.
It seems that way.
liked
It seems that
using
way.
them.
And there is like
It
a more
was.
technical side to it, which is also quite interesting. And again, that's why I'm also quite intrigued to be able to know that there's like a lot of potential with that. So, but there's a learning curve, but it depends how deep you want to go, because there is like a simplicity to it at the same time. So yeah. Okay. All right. So loops for you, working on your website and cleaning that up. And what was just remind me again in terms of your other objectives for this week in general? I mean, that's kind of more or less one and the same. What else did you?
I'm going to take a pass.
That's good. Okay. I mean, because again, just working on your website is kind of like what the objective is as well. It's kind of overlap. So
It's pretty big. Yeah. Thank you.
Cool. All right. Anything else, Lori? Is that good for now?
No, I'm good.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you, Lori. Okay. And we'll go on to who's next. And Pandora, did you want to go next?
Yeah, I'll go next.
Okay, go right ahead.
Hey guys. So today, my loops that I came up with are, I have a guided meditation that I put together on Friday night, but I need to edit it. Probably actually even redo the whole thing, because there's a lot of background noise on it. So that's one thing I want to do. And I also want to do like another 1-minute video for Instagram. And then I have some kind of similar to Lori, is I need to go through my website, and I need to finish. I have like a couple pages that are under construction that I need to finish, that I've kind of set aside for like a couple months now. And then I want to add a section for shadow work service, and then create Google Doc for like contracts and like what I need to go over with them, what they're comfortable with, that type of stuff. And that's about it.
Cool. Awesome. Sweet. That sounds good. And the meditation that you're working on, how long is the meditation?
Last time I looked at it, I think it was just 13 minutes.
13 minutes? Is that what you said?
13.
13? Cool. Awesome. Sweet. Yeah, I think like short and sweet guided meditations are always really valuable. And the IG videos that you wanted to do, can you just explain a little bit more about what those are going to look like, or what you're thinking?
Oh, probably just kind of going over another stone. Just like a really quick one, like really I did one. with my quartz crystal one I did. Just real quick, or probably just kind of like a tip or something like that, how to deal with energy surges, which I've been learning to deal with lately.
Cool.
So
awesome, that sounds good. And side note and side tip for everyone here, for those of you on IG, really make sure that everyone here is utilizing the hashtags. I think some people don't really understand how hashtags work, and that's totally fair. But again, for hashtags, essentially the reason behind those is that it helps kind of like create a branch that invites specific people who are looking up specific terms to be able to find your content. So some of the recommended hashtags that I would recommend everyone here use is hashtags like light worker, light warrior, light guardian. Those are kind of ones I use. You can also just generic ones like consciousness, awakening, paradigm shift, law of attraction, LOA, high vibe. Those are some of the ones that I use. But again, it's understanding that there are going to be people out there, specifically, even the hashtag light worker, using that as an example, who are themselves seeing themselves as light worker, and they're looking for other people who are doing light worker stuff. And so if they're searching the hashtag light worker, then that's going to help them find you. So again, those hashtags, you can think of those as like little branches that you send out in multiple directions that essentially lead people back to your point. So for anybody here, if you're kind of finding you're just like, oh, like my videos are good, good, but they're only reaching my immediate audience, then that's where maybe there's more to be utilized in terms of hashtags, just to be able to help you reach more people and stuff like that. So, because yeah, I know Pandora, you're using a few hashtags, and I feel like the addition of some more hashtags would also be able to help bring more people to your content as well. So,
Okay.
Sorry,
Yeah,
can
I'll
I say
definitely.
something? I'm so
Josie, go
sorry.
ahead.
Can I say something really
About
quick?
hashtags?
I don't mean to interrupt you, Pandora, at all. I was just gonna say the thing that I've learned about hashtags, because there's a couple things. They can be kind of annoying how you have to type them out every single time. So I copied mine into a little thing in my phone, like a little notepad app, and I just copy and paste them and do your research
Yeah.
for sure. So like I started really dialing down on who my audience would be, like who I want to reach, who I want to coach, who I think could help. So I touch on like empaths and INFJ people, because they're the type of people that are more sensitive and dealing with the stuff that I'm coaching on. So like really dial down who your audience is if you're looking to coach people, or who would appeal to your stuff. And also study other people's. Like look for other people's accounts that are like booming and look at their hashtags, and then see what fits with your audience and what they're using, because they've figured out who to hit the most. So that's where I started seeing a boom, because I started looking at other coaches and dialing it down that way. So yeah. That's it. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Absolutely, Josie. And yeah, like literally just reiterating that, for anybody here, look at other profiles that you enjoy and study them. Study what they're doing, study their hashtags, and figure out how you can kind of emulate it into your own thing. And there's no shame in kind of using the same hashtags as someone else, so absolutely. Like even just if you look like literally just for anybody here at some point today, run a search on the hashtag spiritual and see what post comes up, and look at what other hashtags they are also using within their posts. And then that will kind of give you some ideas. And then, as Josie was saying, copy those into a Word document, so you're saving yourself some time, so you can kind of skip that process of having to memorize them. Absolutely. Like there's a huge thing to hashtags, where again, I feel like some people, they just don't really understand them, and then their audience just like maintains a small little circle. But the hashtags help us branch out. And as you said, Josie, they help us target our specific audience. So figuring out who your audience is and figuring out how to reach them through hashtag is super potent. So thank you as well, Josie. So yeah.
Thank you.
Pandora, does that make sense? Do you have any questions on that or anything?
Yeah, no, that all makes sense, and I don't have any questions on it. Are we all gonna start using media medicine? Because I've started using it, and there's not that many media medicine hashtags. So I think we could really kind of blow it up.
I think that is definitely one of the ones that we can also use as well, and I don't think it's one that necessarily I think what's kind of cool about the media about the one about media medicine is that like it's not something that we're trying to keep specific to Paradigm Shift Central. It's more something that represents like a vibration. So I mean like other people could see that and be like, oh sweet, like am I making media medicine type thing? So yeah, for anybody here, including the hashtag media medicine, that's totally cool. Again, the other hashtag that we use is Ways of the Shifter with an S, WAYS. And again, I'm setting things up on the main website, which will allow me to add people who click a link into a single common display of Instagram feeds based on them using a hashtag. So if any post that you put up that uses Ways of the Shifter, if you've clicked this link that allows me to approve you, then it will show up on the main website. I'll explain more a little bit about that as we go. But yeah, hashtags are super powerful, and we could just talk about those for another hour, so we'll get back to it another time. So cool.
Okay,
awesome, sweet. But
I'm good from there.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Thank you, Pandora. And again, congratulations on getting your videos up from last week with you talking about crystals. Again, I think those are wonderful just to be able to get the practice in there, and I'm looking forward to seeing more. So good job.
Cool, thank you.
Awesome. Okay, and let's keep passing around. It's 12 o'clock right now. Again, let's just kind of add another 15 minutes onto the clock, and we'll try and get it wrapped up as soon as we can. And we'll pass the talking stick over, I guess. Drew, did you want to go next?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, we'll do Drew, and then we'll do Tamara afterwards. So, Drew, go ahead. And Drew, thank you for being here at the production meeting. And again, for those of you who didn't hear at the beginning, just welcoming Drew. Drew has been involved in Paradigm Shift in the past, and he's made some music for the community. And now he's here. Happy to be able to have him here, and looking forward to being able to collaborate. So, Drew, go ahead. If there's anything else you just want to say about yourself as an introduction, please feel free, and then you can get right into sharing a couple of the loops that you're closing, and as well as any other objectives for this week for you, for media.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it. Basically, I don't know, as far as introduction, like, keep it short and simple. I don't know, I make music, I do martial arts, and then trying to tie the two into creating somewhat of an entrepreneurship, and like, just the whole shift in general was why I started way back about 3-4 years ago or whatever. Then just kind of went on to my own stuff, and now I'm back. But it all went in its own full circle in this weird way that it all falls together in this kind of oddly perfect way, if that makes sense, of like synchronicity, I guess. But yeah, anyways, for me, my loops to close would be basically just tons of unfinished tracks that I've just set to the side or not gotten to finish. But a lot of that's also because I'm kind of going through a genre switch. I was producing more trap music mainly for rappers and local artists, but now I'm kind of, after going to I went over to Coalesce in San Francisco. It's like really heavy bass type music, just really good vibes and like the culture, and was really inspired. And I'm kind of trying to transition from a trap style into more of a bass, trap style, if that makes any sense. I don't know if you guys are familiar with genres or not, but it's a big switch, especially production level and quality wise. It's like really forcing me to step my game up. And then I know I think Jenna hit me up for some ambient loops or something that I'm kind of working on. I've got some old tracks that might fit it. I just need to I can't really send much right now because I'm kind of stuck without Wi-Fi where I'm at. And then about next week, I should be able to get back to the city and have some internet access at some friends' houses and stuff and whatnot. So I'll get that taken care of around then. But for now, it's really just switching the genre and not letting tracks go unfinished, if that makes sense. It's kind of a weird thing with production. You kind of have to set them aside, come back to them later, here and there, stuff like that. And then the other big one for my media stuff is basically trying to organize everything. So I'm wanting to establish myself as a health and fitness coach, pretty much. Was just kind of the idea I had after listening to the last few chats and stuff. I realized that's really, I don't know, with my background in martial arts and everything, I've seen people try to jump into their own entrepreneurship by advertising like weight loss products and all this other stuff. And to me, I understand where it fits, but like, honestly, if you want to get in shape, you just have to take the steps yourself. And for people that don't understand the steps, like, I've been doing it my whole life. Like, it's not really hard for me. Like, it's just a matter of doing the steps when you need to. So basically what the service would consist of is just like finding out what people want for their goals, what they want to reach, whether they want to change their diet to a vegan or vegetarian diet is kind of my target audience, because that's something I'm really passionate about. And yeah, so basically I would just help work them a diet plan, workout routine, whether just depending, the workout itself would depend on what they enjoy doing, because it's a lot easier to keep yourself active and healthy when you're doing something you're enjoying. If you're going to the gym and you're just getting onto a treadmill and you don't really like running on a treadmill, it's going to be a lot harder to get it done. But say you're a dancer or something, and you like dancing, you like going out, and like there's something for everybody that fits them specifically to their personality and body type. So basically, I've got one client that I'm gonna start with. She's a good friend of mine, and I'm actually giving her the service for free since she's my first client. And then from there, I don't know, she's gonna call me later today. She's telling me she's trying to junk food and stuff. And then I know she likes dancing a lot, so that'll probably be part of her regimen for working out. And then yeah, and then switching over to a vegetarian diet is what she wants to do. So I'm gonna work with that, and then just see where it goes from there. Try to get a good review out of it, and then just spread the word. As far as my media, I need to clean up my Instagram. I know how hashtags work. When I was doing my fighting, I was going really hard trying to make it as a fighter and promoting myself through there. So I know the target hashtags and audience. I just need to, basically, it's been a while since I've like tried to put myself out there on Insta and all that again. So because when I was doing the fighting, it was going really strong, but there wasn't much of a market for it. It was more just trying to get noticed by promotions and whatnot. So now I need to switch it, because it's kind of in a weird state where it's half music, half all my old fighting stuff, and then I have nothing about health and fitness on there as far as promoting myself as a coach. So basically I gotta get all my songs that I have on SoundCloud. I need to make at least like 20-30 second snippets of them with a quick short little looping video, and then that way it can link people to the SoundCloud so they can hear the music. And then as far as getting stock photos for promoting myself as a health and fitness coach. So it's kind of this weird blending ground of what I was doing and what I'm currently doing, and then where I'm trying to move it towards, if that makes sense. And then yeah, just getting the message out on that is pretty much my goals for this week.
Awesome, dude. Wonderful, man. That's again, it's just exciting to be able to hear you talk about those, and I know just being able to talk about them helps actualize them. And you know, we have Pineal Aesthetics. Welcome to the production meeting. When you get a chance, if you can just mute your microphone, and we'll get it over to you shortly. And yeah, dude, I again, you know, like, I'm just super happy to be able to have you here, to be able to give some more you know, direction with the music production, and we're working on bringing in more people who are skilled in that terms, in that end of production, and as well. And yeah, just like the idea of you know, I'm looking forward to being able to work with you, just to be able to create a bit of a library of even just like generic ambient tracks, something that wouldn't even take you too long to be able to do, something that doesn't need to be overly complicated but can still be incredibly valuable for community members if they're making a video where they're talking, and then you just kind of have this track playing in the background. Again, it just like ups the entire production quality. And then if they're linking to your profile and Instagram as well, then that's super powerful. And yeah, I think again, you know, being able to move forward as a fitness coach, I think that's really cool to be able to hear that that's like something that you're passionate about and wanting to be able to help other people with. And I feel like, again, you know, for you, there's probably some like more kind of niche aspects that are part of who you are, that you'd be able to integrate into your coaching, that would make it a little bit different from just like a regular coaching, where, you know, you're able to perhaps like bring in a little bit of like the metaphysics and the spiritual and the mindfulness perspectives into it as well, if that's something that you're feeling called to. And then, you know, you're kind of like, it could almost be like and again, I'm not telling you what to do, these are just ideas coming off the top of my head, but if it's like kind of like a fitness package, kind of like tailored to light workers, to help them kind of like activate themselves into avatars kind of thing, like there would be people who would get pretty excited about that as well, right? Because again, you know, like as coaches and stuff, you're solving a problem, or you're creating an outcome. And so if your outcome is not just like, hey, let's lose weight, but hey, let's like, you know, like help level yourself up so that you can be an even more powerful creator within your lifestyle, as well as just like having this like healthy body and mind. Yeah, I could see there's probably some like ideas, and I'm down to like, you know, brainstorm some more with you and just kind of like flesh things out. But I think you know, with anything like that, there is like a big market when it comes to fitness coach, but being able to kind of perhaps niche that audience towards like a spiritual community could kind of like help you find like the people who you want to work with, even more so. But yeah, I mean, you know, just putting those ideas out there, whatever feels right for you is obviously the right path. So yeah, but yeah,
yeah, you pretty much hit it right on the spot. That's pretty much what I'm going for.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sweet, man. Awesome. Yeah, no, absolutely. And again, I think that's like super powerful just to even have you representing that within the community. So I'm down for that. So cool, man. Sweet. All right, man. Well, I'm looking forward to more just collaboration, and yeah, I'm excited to hear you just like bringing things together. So cool. Is there anything else you want to share at the moment? Even just gratitude?
I think that's all I got. Just grateful to be back, and just here and working with everybody. It's awesome.
Awesome. Sweet, man. Happy to have you here. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's keep moving around the circle, and again, if we can just kind of keep mindfulness of the time, that way. And if anybody does need to leave early, by all means, like you guys are here purely because you know you enjoy the company and the value of hearing other people talk and the inspiration of it. Nobody is obligated to stay here, especially if you're like, hey, I'm gonna get filming my next video or something like that. Go do that, you know. So time is of the essence, but we're making good use of it now. Okay, let's keep moving around. And Tamara, you wanted to go next, and just keeping an eye on the list. We still have from the top, we have Gemini, aka Erica. We have Pineal Aesthetics, who just joined us a few moments ago, and Manders and Summer as well. And yeah, and again, if anybody wants to even just reach out to me one-on-one afterwards, that's really cool too. And Drew, if you can just hit your mute microphone when you get a second. And Tamara, no worries. And Tamara, we'll pass it over to you. So again, couple loops that you're working on closing that you know you need to close, and some other core objectives that you have for this week in terms of your media. So go ahead.
Okay, can you guys hear me okay? I'm so sorry if you can't, but I had to drive because I had to go out of town today.
It sounds fine. Can't tell. So.
Two loops that I have to close up that have been really holding me back is finding introductory music. So I'm really, really excited to connect with Drew. Because that will be serving for videos and for the podcast. The second is a logo for the podcast. We've been working really hard this past week. A lot of big exciting things have been created. We've gotten probably like 6 months worth of work done in a weekend between the three of us. So we're really excited about that. But just to save time, we can get into that another time. But the loops are definitely the introductory and the logo.
Okay, perfect. And any other core objectives that you have for this week?
I want to set a really good schedule for myself now that I'm going to be doing more entrepreneur things. I need to be very organized. And I actually got a lot of progress done in the first half of this meeting. So feeling productive and motivated, it's good.
Awesome, sweet, that's exciting. And yeah, I mean, again, you know, I saw shout out to you and Ogana, who did your guys' little morning Instagram live this morning. I caught some of that. Good job on that. Again, like even just checking in with you on that. Are you downloading those? Are you getting those saved?
We are saving them now. So what we plan to do, like what has come of our meetings and stuff this week, is every Monday at 9 a.m. Central Time, we will be doing a live where we talk about the podcast that was either released the week before or the one coming up. We haven't quite decided, but that's going to be a consistent thing, is the Instagram lives, and we'll switch between Ogana, Shauna as well, Pineal Aesthetics, who's on here. She's going to be working with us. So that will be more of a free flow questioning, like where people can ask us questions and we can talk more in depth if people wanted clarification of something that we talked about during the podcast. But Ogana and I were speaking today, and like the more formal podcasts will be released. We're hoping to actually do twice a week. And then when time allows, we're going to have like a spiritual tea talks between girls where, you know, it's Shauna, Ogana, and I, and then also sometimes guest speakers. So we're really excited. Awesome. And we will be saving them and putting them onto YouTube as well, so people who couldn't tune in can in the future.
Cool. That sounds great. And one idea, this, I mean, you know, if it makes sense for you, it's totally cool, is like taking your recordings of your Instagram lives and uploading those to IGTV. is one option that I played around with. That way, so you're just kind of like putting it in a place where people can find it. And to do that, you might have to like connect your your phone to your computer and then upload it through your browser. Because I know through IGTV, when it's on your phone, you can only upload a 10-minute video to IGTV. But if it's through your browser, when you just go to Instagram.com in your profile and click IGTV, you can upload video files that are up to 45 minutes. So
Sweet.
Or maybe even a little
I'm
bit
excited
longer.
about
But
that.
yeah, that would just be something to keep in mind that way. So
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you for that,
No
because that is something we want to do. My videos will, like, I'm still focusing on IGTV videos and just short ones that can go on my page, but eventually I'll be branching out to YouTube as well. But that's where that intro is kind of holding me back, because I feel like I want to have intro music and have it a little bit more polished to go on YouTube. I almost feel like Instagram, you can be a little bit more informal, but YouTube, I kind of want to polish it up.
Well, that's good. That's good that you're recognizing like the importance of having that extra polish and still the benefits of just having the freestyle of the Instagram. Absolutely. And again, like there's whole other conversations here that are a little bit more advanced that we'll get into a little bit later, but it has to do with like broadcast techniques, including using a software called OBS, which is Open Broadcast Software or Open Broadcast System. And that's what we use for our paradigm shift. So like when you see the paradigm shifts like through my YouTube and you see like all the bells and whistles on screen and that style of format, that's what we're using, and that takes like a bit of like familiarity with just learning how to create that. And another thing that I want to be able to just kind of put out there is the possibility of being able for me to be able to rebroadcast content from either your YouTube or your Instagram into my Instagram Live is actually like something that I could do. So like literally if you were broadcasting on YouTube, I would feed it through my Instagram and then like have your profile tags like in the top of the video so that people could see where it's coming from. So it's a little bit experimental, but it is some stuff that I want to be able to play around with. Because again, you know, like a core thing of what we're building here is, again, thinking of Paradigm Shift Central as this broadcast network. So we're kind of playing around with the different ways in which we're, you know, like patching things in and broadcasting these messages through multiple platforms. And absolutely, it can get a little complex when it's just like, oh God, you know, like broadcasting through like YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Like, how do I choose which one and when is which one better?
I'm not a Facebooker, so that takes that out. No, that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that, because that is definitely where we're going to go. Because we figure to get sponsors and stuff, we got to get on YouTube. That's where the goal is, to be on YouTube broadcasting there, because that's where we will find all sorts of sponsors and stuff like that.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely. Plant those seeds. That'd be cool. And yeah, you know, sponsors could be, you know, like little companies or, you know, even local things. Who knows? That definitely opens things up. So I like it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thanks for holding space for me, guys.
Thank you as well for being here. Awesome. I'm excited to, again, and make sure, much love to both you and Ogana. It's exciting to see both you guys rocking.
Yes. And Shauna's going to be working with us too. That's like the big announcement, right? So,
Awesome. Wonderful. Cool. All right. More collaboration. Okay. Let's keep moving along here, team. Again, we've already gone past 12:15, but we still do have more people to be able to pass the talk and stick around to. But we'll just keep going around and we'll just keep mindfulness on the time. And it's okay that we have this many people here, because that just means that there's people who are involved in creating awesome things. So I'm cool with still being here for a little bit longer. And let's see where we are at about 12:35, which is in about 15 minutes, give or take. So okay, and moving on next, did somebody else want to jump in next? We still got a few more people. So is it gonna be Manders? Is it gonna be Erica? It's gonna be Erica.
Can you hear me?
Hey Erica, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Yes, we can hear
thank
you.
you so much for you know, I know I hopped on here late, but I was definitely, this has become part of my morning routine.
Perfect.
I was recovering from yesterday. So yeah, the loops that I'm trying to kind of close out is definitely my website. With the revamp of everything that I got going on, it pretty much feels like I'm starting from scratch. You know what I mean? So there's definitely like so many things that I had to do that I was like, oh, I'm going to start this task, and then I'm going to start this task, and then I'm going to start this task. And so I actually really appreciate the fact that this is the topic today, because it kind of gives me an opportunity to zero in on those things that I have to kind of close out. So like I said, one of my main things was my website, because I really, really want to have that just launched and everything by the time, business officially opens up, so people can go on there and, look up information and stuff like that. And definitely like domestic physical work kind of has less to do with online stuff, and it just has to do with like painting my studio space and like printing out cards, like our new business cards and our new membership cards, like these little things, like little details about opening, reopening the studio, that I haven't done, that are kind of like the end result of the stuff that I have done. So it's not necessarily like I could have done it 2 weeks ago because I didn't have a logo, but but it's like these little things that it's like, okay, well now it's time, because I really like, deadlines are coming up. So and our grand opening is next Friday. So it's not to say that, if I don't have, freaking a business card, like it's not going to be the end of the world. I mean, painting is more of a priority than that, but I definitely want to set out to finish my website. I definitely want to print out these cards and membership stuff. That's like my priority for closing out loops. And then the painting, like this specific wall in the studio, I had like, there's this thing that I have about bringing old into the new. And so it probably sounds like, so silly, but I just didn't want it to be anything from like the old studio into the new thing. I wanted it to look like a completely new area. So that's as far as like closing my loops. And then for like working on new stuff, trying to get a little bit better with, like I said last week, the social media presence and stuff like that. I'm still kind of like working out kinks as far as like, okay, where do I start? Because there's so much. So for me, definitely it has been just, I took your advice as far as like work through that awkward vulnerability and even like call yourself out on it. Like I love that, because literally it pulls me right through those moments. And it's just, it changes everything. So just really, again, just doing that and getting in front of the camera, also communicating to people all the changes that are happening like in real life, you know what I mean? So any inner stuff that's going on with me as far as like new ideas and all this stuff, I think is super important to like, making sure that I communicate with people about some of this stuff, because the way people see it is like, oh, where'd this come from? This is coming out of nowhere. I had no idea that you were this type of person, So a lot of different things I'm noticing, like, hey, it's kind of, there's an art to balancing, communicating and balancing like how much of myself I want to put out, whether it's like a dance, a freestyle. Do I want to put something formal out, or do I just want to put out something that's kind of more free form and just me having fun, getting out of that box of, like you said, like analytical thinking, and just kind of like feeling it out. Like, what does it feel like? And really, I guess reprogramming myself in a way of doing things, because there's a certain kind of way that I was used to doing things that I really appreciate this community to opening me up to new ways of doing things. And it's like, man, this feels really good. I feel like I end up in a better place because I feel more connected and aligned with what I'm supposed to be doing, because I'm not overthinking things. So yeah, I hope that's not too long.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's exciting to hear. And yeah, I think, you're right on track. And I say that for everyone here, you're right where you need to be in order to be able to get to where you're going. But it's good that you can kind of like recognize just like the pattern of priorities. That's always important. So just kind of not beating yourself up too much if things aren't exactly perfect by the time the studio opens. But again, just kind of creating the atmosphere that has the vibration of the feeling that you want to create. And then, yeah, and then you can start kind of like polishing it up as you kind of go. Absolutely. And it's great to hear that you're working on getting in front of the camera some more. Like I'm really seeing, again, just like I just like the idea of just having videos of you just literally dancing is like promotion in itself, right? Because it's not even just you, like it's also, again, like you promoting the energy that you're putting into your work and into your passion. So if you just create like little short videos of you just dancing, be it in the studio or be it even in your backyard or something like that, people are going to be able to see this and they're going to be like, hey, like I feel attracted to that energy because maybe that's an energy that I don't have enough of in my life, sort of thing, right? So it's like that's kind of a really powerful thing when we think about like what it is that we're offering. Oftentimes people will be attracted to us because they're attracted to something they see in us that they don't have in themselves or they want to see more of in themselves. And so it's like understanding what it is that you're kind of delivering to people, and essentially that can be a very, very simple thing, such as just like a positive attitude and that sort of just energy and that perspective, and then people would naturally just be able to feel comfortable and gravitated and want to be around that type of space more. So no, I think Erica, I think you're doing great. And again, I'm super excited to see, you know, even just like next week where things are going to be. And again, if you do need some more brainstorming, just let me know. But again, being able to do the website work, the painting the studio, getting the business space already, the business cards and stuff like that. Yeah, no, I think that's wonderful to hear. So thumbs up. Good job.
Thanks so much, man. And also, I just wanted to kind of like reach out to Drew because we have that whole fitness thing in common. I'm also trying to find my space and reaching out to like the community and seeing like how do I want to present this, because I don't want to go about it either like, oh yeah, just lose weight. I've done the network marketing, I've done the Herbalife, like that's not where I'm trying to go. And so that's also something that I've been working on. So Drew, if you ever like want to collab on ideas of, you know, just how to go about things, I'm totally open for that as well, because that's something that I'm trying to explore too with again, the studio space. I'm a personal trainer, I'm Group Fitness certified, like that's also a side of me, but because dance is just such a big aspect and I don't know how to carry myself in the fitness world, I kind of just stick to, okay, I'm just gonna stick to this. But you know, people know that I offer that as a service and that's how I get clients and stuff. But you know, Drew, if you ever want to like collab on anything as far as ideas or just brainstorming, I'm totally for it.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be really cool.
Awesome.
Just hit me up sometime and shoot ideas back.
Awesome. Yeah. And just kind of adding into that again, you know, like with what we've talked about in the past broadcasts, where, you know, I've been encouraging every person here, if you guys are creating like your own little communities to kind of even emulate similar to what we're doing here in as like a hologram of what you're creating, and you know, for Drew, for Erica, for anybody here, again, you know, I think there's more value that can be created when you're inviting people to work with you, if you're inviting them to be able to work within the accountability of a small community. So, you know, like for Drew specifically, I'm just kind of talking to, but also for Erica and anybody else, where it's like, if you're creating your own Discord server, then you're saying like, hey, okay, you're going to work with me, but then, you know, like once a week, we're also going to have these like group check-in meetings sort of thing, where they get to hear about what other people are going through and maybe even what some of their challenges and their goals, and just giving them that space to be able to vocalize within a safe circle. That can be very, very powerful. And again, I think even just that is like something that a lot of people would really want to be a part of, because I think sometimes if it's just like, oh, I'm just working with a one-on-one coach, like maybe there's like yeah, that's cool and stuff like that, but like that extra addition of being able to have like a group where they can kind of check in, and that can kind of like help you kind of, you know, just like support the entire network as one entity, opposed to doing the same thing 5 times for every single person. That could also help kind of like offset some of the workload, and again, just kind of like bring even more value into whatever package you're creating. But yeah, those are just some thoughts that I just wanted to put out there. So yeah. So I don't know, Drew, does that,
thank you.
We can talk about more about that later, but yeah, does that sound like a kind of a possible idea?
Yeah, it sounds good. I'm just my speaking presence for public speaking, there's definitely more, but yeah, that sounds great.
Cool, man. Yeah, and you know, again, even just like us talking here amongst a group, it's all just practice, right? It's all just practice. So cool. Sweet. Awesome. Okay, Erica, was there anything else you wanted to share? You're feeling pretty good about things by the sounds of it?
No, that's it.
You're excited? Awesome.
Yeah, that was it for me. Thank you.
You're proud of yourself? I assume you are. So, right, Erica, you're proud of yourself for all your hard work? That's always an important thing.
I did not hear that part. I'm sorry. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, okay, let's keep moving along here, and we'll get wrapped up pretty shortly. We still got a few more people then, and just honoring that. So, and we did have Donio also join, so welcome, Donio. And who would like to go next between Donio, PNL Aesthetics, and Manders and Summer? And again, if anybody wants to skip today, that's totally cool. And somebody want to
I can go.
Donio.
I just don't know.
Okay, so
could you give me
just as a preface, what we were talking about just in terms of a question to go around the circle with is what are like 1 or 2 loops that you need to close, that you recognize that you need to close. And again, a loop is like a task that you haven't completed yet. And once you complete that task, you'll be able to like focus in on like the next things. And then also just in general, what are like a couple core objectives that you're working on this week in terms of media? So does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. That's kind of that's it. It's a pretty deep question there, Brendon. um well, loops, I don't really have any. I try to close off loops as soon as I create them. So I mean, I have things that I'm waiting on, but I don't have any like personal loops. I'd say enlightenment is probably one of them. Otherwise, yeah, there's not many loops there. I'm going through a lot of transitions, so I've actually spent like the last week pretty much closing off loops, and making sure that everything's kind of like in alignment. But things that I'm waiting on, and or new things, like I have a class that I'm creating here in Portland, and so I need to finish writing the material for that class. So that's definitely like part of something I want to close off. But I'm waiting on a few things for that too. And then I would say that probably the other thing is like I want to start like an online class. But I have to, like, I'm waiting on some online things. I'm waiting on some money. But I could use, some extra effort into like creating a plan for that. But that's like, yeah, I'd say those are probably the 2 things that are like loops that I could close off. And yeah, new things are another service that I want to do, which is like a relationship package, and trying to create like an easy way for people to get relationship readings. And then yeah. Oh, and then I'm actually a part of a an astrological teaching. I don't know. It's not necessarily a co-op. It's just like a group. But I need to do some things with that as well, and see if I can collaborate with some of them. And I've been kind of dropping the ball with them, so I want to start something new with that group as well. So yeah, I guess that's my answer.
Cool. Awesome, man. Yeah, that sounds good. And I think I think that's a natural fit for you, being able to do like online classes. I think like already you're in that mindset of just being able to present information. And yeah, I'm sure that's just gonna, just like help you level up your skills and connect you with more awesome people. So yeah, no, that sounds cool, man. And it's good to hear that you're already in the mindset of like closing loops as you make them, because again, like that's essentially the mindset that we want to be able to encourage everyone. It's not just to acknowledge the loops that we haven't closed, but to get into the mindset of closing loops as we make them, sort of thing. And again, that can be something where like a loop that might have been open for like a couple weeks could probably be closed if we like just focused on just it for like an hour or something like that, right? So really, again, just kind of like understanding the benefits of being able to get into that habit in the first place is definitely the direction we want to go in. So cool, man.
Yeah,
that's good. Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I'm down with harmony, and unclosed loops create chaos. So. Yay, harmony.
Okay, cool. All right. Anything else at the moment? Otherwise, again, just reach me on the side. I think that's pretty good for now,
though. Nope. Thanks for the meeting.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks, man. All right, and moving along, we still have Penial Aesthetics. Yeah, go ahead, and welcome to the production meeting. Thank you so much for being here. And if you just wanted to even do like a little brief introduction, you're more than welcome, since this is your first production meeting. And
yeah, this is my first time, I guess, popping into your meeting. I've been meaning to, and I apologize for not being there sooner, but things are a little chaotic around here. I have 4 kids. My name is Shauna. Actually, Tamara mentioned earlier that I'm going to be working with her and Ogana to kind of work on the podcast with them, and eventually the lives, once I can figure out how to not curse so much. That's one of the loops I'm trying to close. Actually, so a little introduction. I guess I started my awakening about 2 years ago. And in the past year, I've kind of had a lot of crazy things happen, to the point that I had to kind of rely on my spiritual gifts to, I guess, make money. I was in a car accident. I wasn't able to perform normal job functions. And I started doing readings online, and also massage and home massage. And it kind of just took off from there. I opened a, online store through Instagram, as well as Facebook and Etsy. And also I'm on Thurvo and a couple other like lead production services that are paid. Like you pay per lead to contact people for massage and stuff like that. But it's been really an interesting ride. And, back on 11/11, I was looking for a meditation, and I stumbled across you, Brendon, on your live meditation. And I think I only caught maybe the last 15, 20 minutes of it. But I had such a powerful heart chakra activation after that meditation that things just kind of started progressing really rapidly, almost so rapidly that I gave myself a little bit of sickness because I was focusing so much on things that I wasn't resting. And so now I'm still healing from all of that. But I'm back in working in people's homes. I have a couple of home visits coming up this week. The readings have been something that's really kind of been therapeutic for me as well, sort of like a healing through service. I wanted to offer actually to you guys as well, because in our Snapchat group that some of us have made, I've been doing readings for them, just kind of like a daily card pull. And if you have any kind of questions, you can contact me, DM me. I'm always open to helping whoever I can. And it really has been something that I've tried to stick to. I actually felt bad yesterday because I could only do one pull for the whole group, but I think it resonated with some people. So now I guess the loops that I'm trying to close for myself, I want to, in the next week or so, I had been in touch with a company that works with getting leads. No, I'm sorry, not leads. Getting for small businesses to open a location. And what I'm offering now on an independent level is only like 2 or 3 services. I am doing chakra alignment balancing as well as spiritual coaching. But I want to open, my dream is to open a holistic healing center, and one that encompasses not just spiritual healing, but also offers an aesthetic side so that you can receive spa services as well as hair, nails, makeup, and there's like a whole lot of stuff that encompasses. But basically, for the I guess for your main image of it, when you walk in, you would see there's a yoga studio and meditation studio, as well as private offices for past life dream regression and guided meditation and neurolinguistic programming and hypnotherapy, which is something I'm in school for now. So that's one of the loops I'm still trying to close, is finishing up my schooling for a lot of different things that I'm doing, like Reiki, and as well as, getting more massage certifications. I have a couple of rare specialty massages under my belt. So that's something that I'm willing to, share with the world eventually. And it's just kind of now, I need to get back in touch with this company who's going to try and help me actually buy my website, buy my DMB number, and bump up my business so that it looks like I have some good credit and I can get some lenders to look at me. So that's kind of one of the big, huge loops that I'm working on right now. And other than that, I mean, I'm really just kind of focusing on conscious media creation with Tamara and Ogana, and just kind of getting to know some of the other shifters, and bonding with them and doing readings for them and kind of healing within the group. That's important to me. And other than that, yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Thank you, Shauna, for sharing. And yeah, absolutely. It's exciting to be able to hear like those visions that you do have of even being able to create the school, and just kind of knowing that like it's like the little steps that kind of lead up to that, and just being able to focus on developing the relationships with the people you're already in touch with and developing that clientele. Yeah, no, I think that's very exciting. You definitely have a lot of value to be able to offer, and as you're kind of communicating, just being able to get it in, you know, the form of the conscious media to be able to present it. Yeah, it's just going to help like keep things growing and growing and growing. So absolutely, I think again, just kind of focusing without having to get too far ahead of ourselves, just focusing on like, you know, the individual tasks one day at a time is eventually what takes us there, while still having that quantum seed planted for the bigger visions in the future. So good for you for having those big dreams already. So
thank you. Really cool. Thanks.
Awesome. Sweet.
I also wanted to say thank you as well, because without your platform, I wouldn't have made some very serious connections with people, and just kind of found like my tribe. Now, this has been a really lonely journey for a long time. I know 2 years doesn't seem like it's so long. Yep. I'm only self-aware for 2 years. I've been awakening for a long time. But this is something that I just wanted to say thank you for holding space for me, and I'm grateful that I have this tool as a networking ability, and a networking tool to be able to meet other shifters. It's all what you're doing, B.
Totally. Again, yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you for honoring the value of the space, and thank you for contributing to it as well. So, very cool.
Thank you.
Awesome.
All right, I'll let somebody else.
Yeah, well, I think that's pretty much it. Actually, Manders had to drop out. Donio, if you just want to, actually, I don't think Donio can hear us, but I'm just gonna mute him because he had his audio muted. Manders just left a comment in the chat. She said, "Sorry, baby calls. Loops I'm closing. Sacred geometry set on Instagram. Researching hashtags, which I did during the meeting, and that helped. And media production, researching how to add music to videos, and researching psychic development blog." So that's part of what Manders had to share. So cool, awesome. All right, well, yeah. With that said, thank you again, everyone, for being here for the production meeting. Again, if you want to be able to just like do like a one-on-one thing with me, just let me know. Stay tuned for more updates. Obviously, again, I'm going to be working on the main website, so just acknowledge that like that's what my primary focus is on right now. So if the one-on-one production meeting can wait, that would be preferred, since I'll just need to get going on that this afternoon. And yeah, again, you know, like I think in terms of like any sort of homework assignment, I don't really think there's too much that I really need to give you today. I think what we talked about in the conversation gives you guys enough direction on just being able to move forward. If anything, I would say the homework assignment for you would be to get in the habit of doing your journal prompts, which is what we talked about at the beginning of the broadcast. And again, that's making a rising journal each and every morning if you're able to. And that starts with like writing out a little bit about what you're grateful for, talking to yourself in kind of that third person where you'd say like, "Hey, Brendon, you're doing awesome. You're doing so great. You're creating amazing things." The 4 things that you want to accomplish written in present tense, and the 3 frogs, which are your big tasks that you want to be able to complete for that day, and then also doing a brain dump as well. So if you can get in the habit of being able to get into those rising journals, that would be great. And then in the future, we'll share more about some midday and some evening journals as well. But that's plenty enough to be able to work with. So before we close the meeting, does anybody have any either questions or just gratitude that they want to be able to express? Please do that now, and then we'll wrap it up in a minute. So
I adore what you brought here. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. Thank you as well. And Erica,
I appreciate today. Thank you so much.
Thank you as well.
Yep, just want to say thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
Awesome. Good job, team.
Thank you all for
Sweet.
listening and space.
One thing I'll just mention for everybody here, right after this meeting, go ahead and just drop your Instagrams into the core team chat. just put them there. That's fine. And that way, so we can make sure that everybody's synced up with each other on Instagram as well. And if you don't have an Instagram, make sure that you make one. And yeah, you can even just post your Instagrams and any other profile links to your social media that you want to as well. Just again, just to put it right in there for all of us here to be able to make sure that we're connected. So cool. Okay, and we're ready to wrap this up. So any last thing anybody wants to say before we wrap this up? Shauna, did you want to say something?
I don't know where you went. Bear with me. I was going to put my stuff up in there. Okay. I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you all for space for me. And I'm here if anybody needs a reading or just wants to reach out and connect. One of the things that I'm going to be trying to do eventually is to actually have people living at the location that I open as part of the conscious community to uplift some of our struggling members who are homeless right now. I know there's a bunch of us. So if anybody has, anything they need, just contact me. I'm going to drop my social media stuff.
Cool. Awesome. Sweet. And thank you for that, Sean, as well. And Gemini, Lori, if you guys, and for anybody else, just dropping your links into the main chat, if you can put the full URL, that is preferred, opposed to just your tag as well. So that way, so people can click on it and they'll have the convenience of that as well. So
yes, I was thinking that.
Yeah. And any other websites.
I'm like,
right. Cool. Okay. All right. Awesome. Good job, team. Again, thank you everyone for being here. I'm excited to be able to accomplish more. There may be a reschedule for the production meeting on Wednesday. I may have to be out of the office for that time. I'll let you know ahead of time. Other than that, we'll join here tomorrow. Again, we'll just do it as a very quick meeting tomorrow. They're not always going to be this 2-hour long. That way, so we can have more time in our day to just be able to work on other stuff. But again, I appreciate everyone being here. And yeah. Go ahead and tell your friends a little bit about what they're doing here. Tell them about this super secret, awesome club that we got going on. So start spreading the word and get them ready for when we're ready to launch our website. So cool. Awesome. All right. Everybody ready to go kick some butt today?
Yes.
You guys good? Yes. Awesome. Sweet. All right. Everybody here, join me in saying thank you again to everybody. To join me in saying thank you to everyone tuned into this into the future, and say have an awesome day to everybody who's listening to this. So go ahead, everyone. Say thanks for listening. You guys
have an awesome day.
Have a great day.
Gratitude. Have a great day.
Woohoo. All right. Until next time, we'll see you guys in the future. Much love and keep it shifty.
Ciao.